if you really want the results, you have to go work in a place that has coaching and accountability and follow-up. And so if you're thinking of starting a business, a fitness business, and you think that you're going into the fitness business and not into the relationship business, you've got another thing coming.
So you have a passion for fitness and the desire to start your own business. But launching a massively successful fitness business is extremely complex. The systems, operations, hiring, firing, coaching, sales, and marketing are critical to success. Where do you even start? This show will give you the answers. Here is Bedros Keuilian and Bryce Henson, your hosts of the Fitness Franchise Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms.
Hey friends, welcome back to another incredible episode of the Fitness Franchise Podcast here in the studio. Before we get into today's episode, I want to give you a friendly reminder. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So here at HQ with my man B, and we being a lot of questions around 2022 is here. What are the predictions? What are the trends in the fitness industry? So we thought we'd get out in front of it, shoot an awesome video, and kind of talk to you about a few bullet points that we see happening and growing in 2022 and beyond. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it. Rock and roll.
All right. Well, first and foremost, group training, and that's the big topic. It's specifically what we do here at Fit Body Bootcamp, but we've seen the industry grow so much over the last decade, and that will continue, my friends.
Yeah. And let's kind of share why that will continue. I remember when I first started Fit Body Bootcamp in 2010, 11, before it even was a franchise. I remember someone asking me like, hey, is this just a trend? I was like, hey, let me remind you of Jazzercise that has been around since like 1970 something. Jazzercise. By the way, Jazzercise is still the nation's biggest franchise.
Really?
Because, yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's to date, I think there's 22,000 Jazzercise franchise locations. And the reason for that is it'll be happening like in the basement of a church and then, at the rec center. But all of group training, whether it's Jazzercise or Curves that came and went, and Curves was just a bad business model. Group coaching always works. Bad business models don't. You look at Quiznos sub sandwiches, amazing sandwich, better quality meat, better cheese, better bread, yet went out of business because the business model sucked. But group training will be here, was here, will always continue to be here, group workouts, because we are tribal, community-driven people. Humans are tribal. We are pack animals, and we want to work out at a certain time in a certain group, and we have fun when we do it together. And that's the beauty of group coaching. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with, online coaching and all that stuff. Those things are going to make a trend as well. But as we talk about, the results that people get in a competitive group environment are significantly better than in a one-on-one environment. The accountability factor of not only to the coach and to the appointment that you made for that particular class time or session time, but also to the people in that session. Like, they're your friends, they expect you there, you show up on a certain time. The accountability factor is huge. Versus working out on your own versus working out in an environment where there's a coach. The coach is gonna help you get faster, better, more lasting results. And so for all those reasons, group training has been around, will be around, and will continue to grow and thrive, unless it's a bad business model, in which case all bad business models fail because that's just they're destined to.
Yeah, amen to that. And the biggest thing, just to revisit that tribal element. Humans are tribal in nature, and I feel like one of the most restrictive torture that you can throw in a human is isolation.
Yes. Well, we saw that with the pandemic and how mental health became such a major issue.
Suicide rates went up, et cetera, because people need people, and that's so special. Just want to reinforce that point, B. And, case in point, I come to think of two owners, and there's many, but especially last year, actually 2 years ago at the time of this recording, in 2020, when COVID shut gyms down and the fitness industry contracted as a whole. And, fast forward, we're shooting at this end of 2021, launching in 2022, and two owners within our mastermind that just come to mind, and there's many others, Nene and Hervé out in West Boylston, Massachusetts. I mean, they're busting at the seams. Literally 2021 was a benchmark year, especially the latter half of the year, as the vaccine came out and as more confidence has been been restored, more liberty and freedom. Our citizens are experiencing that mental shift is happening, which we talked about in a previous episode. But because of all this, I mean, now they're a $500,000 facility, busting at the seams, over 300 clients, and they're actually going to be opening their second location here in the next 6 months, and we're actually getting them on the podcast. So that's just one example. The other example is actually a close mutual friend of ours, Joey Stewart, out in Athens, Georgia, who again, very similar formulaic type experience. 2020, certainly hurt and was not fun, but 2021 for him and his Athens team has been a benchmark year. They're bursting at the seams, they're growing, and they're opening their second location again in early 2022. So just two examples of what that trend of group training and why it's so effective, and will continue to go through.
Yeah, those were actually very, very good examples, and because people do ask me, right? They're like, "Hey, is Fit Body Bootcamp is still a good business idea?" Like, let me tell you about our locations that literally came on board during the year of COVID, 2020, and opened their doors towards the latter end of 2020 and early 2021, and how they're thriving, because people want to be in a group environment more than ever, and it hit me to describe it to them this way, because everybody loves a good visual picture. I'm like, think about a prison. When you're in prison, you're taken out of society, but in prison, there's still what they call general population, right? And then if they want to punish you because you were bad in prison, what do they put you in? Isolation. Exactly. You go into isolation. We were all put on isolation, and we saw how well isolation did not work.
Correct. And interestingly enough, and not to get over politically here, but especially in the states that had the biggest reinforcements of the COVID restrictions, like New York, like California, not only the data didn't prove itself when you look at states like New York and Florida, but just the level of depression and suicide just went through the roof in those places.
Yeah. And so the truth of the matter is, and let's not forget, look, online coaching still existed in 2020, during that COVID year, 2020. Online coaching, online nutrition, all the goofy little gadgets that you would buy from infomercials all exist. But the reality is you still need human interaction. And so when gyms shut down and when people were unable to go to restaurants and malls, et cetera, social interaction is what we need, literally at the cellular level. It's one of the components, social interaction, touching, hugging, like contact with another human is good for your immune system. And so for all those reasons is why group training has been around, has stayed around, and will always be around, again, if it's a business model that is sound. And that's really what Fit Body Bootcamp is. And yes, I'm tooting our own horn, toot toot, because there's not a lot of franchise businesses that survived and were able to come out now and thrive like we have post-pandemic without having to sell out major equity. We didn't sell out a single percentage of equity. We said no to any potential, like all fitness brands, we were being offered pennies on the dollar as bailout money, right? Like, hey, no, thank you, not interested, because we found a way to serve our owners. And those owners, some of them, as locations were shutting down, they were buying up those shut down locations and breathing new life into them. And so anyway, it's all this to say that group coaching will always be around, but let's not forget that technology now allows us to also expand the level of coaching that we deliver outside of our four walls, which is worth talking about as we move into 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. And that second point that we get asked a lot is, the online coaching, what's the trend on that? And from our perspective, that will continue to increase because leveraging technology is important. And, we've seen it in other business models. And that's why here at Fit Body Bootcamp, we've installed the online coaching, protocols. We've leveraged and connected and partnered with other technology platforms that's been able to allow us to deliver coaching sessions and training sessions, and really be what I think not only online will, continue to thrive, but really also a unique kind of third aspect of the hybrid where, this is something that we do here at Fit Body, because our core, our bread and butter is in-person live coaching. That's really the magic, that community, the relationship feel. You can't really, you can leverage technology, you can help the effort of building a relationship, but there's nothing that beats that live in person. But really what I see, B, and I believe you're on the same wavelength here, is not only online coaching, but that hybrid model continue to thrive.
That's exactly right. And the hybrid model brings the best of both worlds, because even pre-pandemic, the reality is if you travel, if your kids are sick, if you can't get to the gym for whatever reason, you still need to get that workout in. And to have a hybrid model where you still get a sense of the live coaching, the accountability, you can respond back to your coaches and, yes, I did this, I did that exercise didn't work for me. That creates a level of interaction. And then when you can go back into your Fit Body Boot Camp or your local gym and work out in person and be amongst the community, you have a model that now you're constantly getting results no matter what, whether you're traveling at home, whatever, yet you still are part of a network, a gym that has community that you belong in. And I think that is really the thing that's going to thrive most, is this hybrid model where you are working out somewhere because you're part of a human community, but you've got a coach who is not just programming for you, but there's a level of interaction through technology. So there's online coaching where you can just buy online workouts online, $29, do these sets, do these reps for 8 weeks. But who's holding you accountable? Who are you talking to about if you're overtraining, breaking down more muscle than you're building, or if you're not eating enough protein? Are you creating way too much lactic acid and not able to flush it out in time because you're not hydrated, et cetera? Like, that's what a coach does, and it's that interaction piece. And so the internet used to be, back in the days of buying ebooks and workout programs for $29, $49, those were okay. But if you're looking to really bring the internet and your local gym together, like, you better find a way to get interaction going, and that's that hybrid model that we've really mastered here at FitBody. And well, in a weird way, thanks to the pandemic, that really, held a little fire under our feet, and we pieced together technology that works like gangbusters.
Totally. And one other advantage, actually, the hybrid model that we've experienced at our Fit Body locations and the benefit from it, which was unforeseen but happened with the pandemic, is now being able to provide an online coaching aspect. And you just hit about the training aspect of the online courses. You'll have to relink. There's a video and an episode we shot about the difference between training and coaching. That'd be an incredible video to really expand on that. But this all to say, previously, without that online and hybrid model, when a client would be traveling for a few weeks or a month or snowbirding, this, that, and the other, we'd have to put them on freeze or potentially cancel them. Well, now we actually can still offer them coaching. So it's been a great retention and revenue booster as well. So it's really been, a very solid aspect of our program, and that will just continue for 2022 and on.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. And listen, whether you're a Fit Body Bootcamp owner watching this, or you're someone interested in owning a Fit Body Bootcamp, or you have a different brand of gym, you ought to know something in that what Bryce said pre-pandemic, when a client wanted to go away for a while, like, hey, I'm going on a 2-week or a 4-week vacation, they would usually want to put their account on a freeze. In fact, all the big platforms, the softwares, the front desk management softwares, they all have built-in freeze components where you can freeze someone's membership. Because no matter how much you wanted to tell a client, like, look, you still have to keep working out. I can still email you workouts and we can still do something online. They didn't look at online coaching as a legitimate way. Just like when we wanted to bring in the boot camp from outdoors to indoors so that we can use equipment and control the temperature in the environment, et cetera. People are like, why would we do boot camp indoors when we could just do it outdoors, right? And then, of course, we brought it indoors and the whole boot camp model blew up. And it's the same thing where pre-pandemic, people thought online coaching was a lesser service, and therefore I'd rather put my account on a freeze, come back from my vacation or my hiatus, and then reactivate my membership. Well, we all know what happens there.
They don't come back.
More times than not, they don't come back.
Yeah.
And now you just have a client on permanent freeze, which is like in this weird hiatus, limbo. But now that the pandemic has legitimized online coaching and people were forced to do it and try it and realized, no, there's proper ways to do online coaching that you can interact, have accountability, and still see amazing results. You can now use that as part of your business model. And not only when people are out of town, but what happens if someone who works out with you here, let's say in Chino Hills, is now moving because they got relocated in their work across the country? They are now more than willing to continue to do your online coaching program on the other side of the country versus finding a different gym. out there. So you still keep that revenue in-house.
I have two, sorry to interject there, I have two clients literally in the same position, married couple. They've been a client of mine at Yorba Linda for the last 8 years. They just got relocated to Texas. Actually, they relocated themselves for reasons that we probably are fully aware of. And they're still continuing on, doing workouts in Austin, Texas for that exactly. So just kind of case in point there.
Yeah, the revenue stayed with you instead of going to a different gym in a different city state.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's, as much as the world is going to poo-poo on the pandemic, there are some great technological advancements that came out, and several of them in our very own industry, the fitness industry.
Totally. Well, that lends itself to the third aspect, which really is the continuation of being able to leverage technology. And B, I give you credit. I think from the very early days of FitBody, and I think something that's really differentiated our program is you've really driven change and really embraced technology to a core. So that will just continue, and barring some sort of cataclysmic, meteor where it disrupts the magnetic system of the Earth, friends, technology is only going to continue at a quicker rate. We're not going backwards. So it's the coaching businesses that embrace that technology, just like you have at early day, and we continue to at FitBody. Embrace technology, new technologies, marketing automation. There's two technologies that we're really excited to kind of continue, and one is a CRM and a POS platform that we partnered with during the pandemic, which is called FitPro Tracker. And B, if you can kind of elaborate a little bit about the exciting news, not only for the industry, but specifically our brand and how it's going to make big impact over the next year.
Yeah, I mean, since day one, like I remember the year was 1997, and I saved up as much money as I could, got my hands on a Toshiba laptop, and then those AOL discs that came where you had like 1,500 hours of free dial-up AOL, America Online.
Dial on. It took you like 2 minutes to get on.
And I was just so fascinated by that. And interestingly enough, so in 1997, like I knew this thing, this internet, this technological thing was going to be something bigger. Interestingly, the reason I say 1997 is there was a headline that came out in the New York Times in 1997 that said, the internet, a passing trend, right? And a comedian that I follow, Nicole Arbor, she posted that newspaper the other day on her Instagram timeline, and she said, a passing trend, huh? Because it lasted the test of time, and now we are so reliant on our devices that are connected to the internet 24/7.
Totally.
And so I kind of had an idea that was going to be the case. And so when you think about how gyms evolved, it used to be a big, giant mega gym where they didn't know your name at the front desk and they didn't care. Actually, they didn't care. They didn't want you to come in. The truth of the matter, because I've worked in big box gyms before, right? Like intimately at the corporate level when I had a job. And a good, healthy 40,000 square foot big box gym will have about 10,000 members, 10,000 paying members. If all 10,000 members used that gym,
no way.
It would be a madhouse.
Yeah.
One, you would complain and ask for a refund because you couldn't use any of the equipment. Two, the equipment would break down so quickly that they would be repairing at an alarming rate. And so they know that 83% of their membership won't use the membership after 90 days. 83%. Is that nuts?
They're signing up people and hoping they don't come.
Yeah. Wait, think about this. And so why is there big box gyms in your town that have been around for 10, 15 years, yet there's no sign on the door that says, sorry, we're full, don't come in? Yes, they have a big membership base paying. 83% are not coming in and using it. At $29, $49, $59 a month, they go, maybe I'll cancel next month if I don't go. Maybe I'll cancel next month. So that's the model of the big box gym.
And there's some reassurance in just the way we're programmed as humans that, okay, I have a gym membership if I choose to want it. So there's that reassurance that they continue to pay.
Yeah, it's like a little safety net.
Safety net.
Exactly. And here's another statistic, which has nothing to do with the 2020 trends and predictions in fitness industry, but kind of does. Of the 83% who will stop using their gym but still pay after 90 days, the 17% that go, only 2% of them actually see results. So when IHRSA, which is the International Health and Racquetball Association, blah, 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 the association body of the fitness industry, they did a study. They found that of the 17% that actually use the gym membership daily, only 2% get results. Everyone else, they found that year after year either look the same or just get fatter at a slower rate. because they don't know what they're doing. Or they'll work out and burn 300 calories, but then stop at the juice bar and buy a 600 calorie smoothie on the way out. They don't understand that you could consume the equivalent of 2 Big Macs in one smoothie.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally consume twice the amount of calories you just burned in that workout on your way out.
On your way out, and completely destroyed the benefits of that workout. So I share that because when you look at the numbers at a big box gym, it's a membership business, not a fitness business. And so the front desk systems, the CRM, which is the client, ironically they call it client relationship management, that's what CRM stands for, and POS, point of sale system, those things were designed to check, okay, Bryce's little key tag worked or his fingerprint worked, his payment is up to date, go on and have a great workout, and it flashes your name on the screen so they can go, have a great workout, Bryce, and that's that. Well, as Fit Body Bootcamp came around in 2010 and other more boutique gyms came around and franchising became the thing, and we started delivering coaching and not just access to equipment, but actual coaching, delivering results and promising results with the money back guarantee. We realized we need a very different POS, point of sale, and client relationship management. So those companies that worked within the big box gyms said, hey, we can make it work for you. We're just going to do a little coding. And it's called code debt. So they take old code that's designed to work in a membership big box gym and they try and tweak it. It's almost like taking a car and saying, well, this car is not designed to have a supercharger, but I'm going to put a supercharger to get more horsepower out of it. But that supercharger is too powerful for the transmission, so now you have transmission problems, and the exhaust isn't big enough to let all the exhaust out, so now you have actual airflow problems with the car, and the car is now like falling apart all the time. And so all these boutique gyms, Fit Body Bootcamp included, were using the platforms for POS and CRM, and it wasn't making sense. And then as we started to franchise and one owner had multiple locations, well, how does the one owner oversee his multiple locations? And how does the franchisor see his locations? And so that more code debt was created. So more jimmy rigging of old platform, and that creates unreliability and platforms crash. And before you know it, you're like, why am I, and then they go, well, you got to use this software, that software, and these 2 other pieces to make it work. And now a gym owner finds himself paying $800 to $1,200 a month just for software, right? And so a few years ago, we realized that what if there was a POS and CRM system that created marketing automation and was built for boutique gyms where if you're a franchisee, you can have one or multiple gyms and oversee them. It had built-in automation, marketing automation, text follow-up, like used intelligent AI, artificial intelligence that exists now to be able to track the leads, like track the lead and their behavior. If they open an email, send out another email. They read a text, send out another text. They scheduled an appointment to come in, don't send out more marketing stuff because they scheduled an appointment to come in. And so we started building Fit Pro Tracker along with our friend Antonio, who is actually the husband of a Fit Body Bootcamp owner.
That's right.
And so she was so frustrated with the platform that we had told him to use, she commissioned her husband, who's a brilliant coder, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna make something awesome. And of course, we partnered up with him, and Fit Pro Tracker now is gonna change the industry. Now, Fit Body Bootcamp is using it franchise-wide, and of course, we're now talking to like all these different brands who want to learn, who want to use it and learn more about it and see what Fit Pro Tracker is about. But imagine not having to pay $800 to $1,200 a month for 5 or 6 different pieces of software that work clunky and are not intuitive and don't load up on your iPhone because they were built in the 90s or early 2000s when they're not compatible with these platforms.
Yeah.
And having a platform that's POS, marketing automation, client relationship management, all those things rolled up into one that is actually as easy to use as your iPhone, intuitive. Like that's what Fit Pro Tracker is. And we've always been the company that is going to create faster than others can copy, right? And so our whole model was, let's embrace, get our arms around Fit Pro Tracker and build it to fit Fit Body Bootcamp, and that will give us this massive advantage, and that's what we have.
Yeah, totally. And it's going to be a game changer. It already is.
Yeah.
But the rest of the 2022 and on, we're just look that much brighter.
Yeah.
The last thing from a technology perspective that I want to hit on is the learning management system, LMS. And this is something that we spend a lot of time with Fit Body, and really from a coaching element, whether you decide to become a Fit Body owner or you decide to open another boutique fitness and coaching business, you have to have a system, an LMS system that's able to effectively train your team, especially if you can't be there every single time training and delegating, et cetera. But let me rephrase. You should be delegating, but from a training perspective, there's nothing better than actually recording a video or a presentation, et cetera, and then uploading it to a sequence where you can actually deliver that to your team, deliver it to your clients even, and really allow them to retain that information and execute against that. And that's the beauty of delegation, as we shot out on the previous episode. But that learning management technology, we're excited to launch that program wide here at Fit Body. We just spent 12 months of testing, and that's going to be a game changer. And regardless, again, of your business, your platform, you need a tool that's going to efficiently be able to train your team. And from a technology perspective, that's what we see for the vision of 2020.
Yeah, and to that point, dude, there was a time when technology did not change as quickly, right? Like things didn't update as quickly, and so you could have a 3-ring binder with like your standard operating procedures, and that was that. But today, like we saw what happened when iPhone 13 came out. They released their iOS, whatever it was, 14 or update that then stopped Facebook from allowing it to use the tracking pixel when you're marketing. And so what am I going to do? Send a new piece of paper to all of my franchisees that says, put this in your 3-ring binder on page 92?
Yeah, not if you want to be in business.
You've got an LMS platform that immediately, if iPhone does an update that stops Facebook from using tracking pixels, and we find a solution to get around that, or a solution to be able to still generate leads without tracking, doing pixel tracking, we can just upload that training video into the LMS platform overnight and announce it to our franchisees, and boom, they've got the system available at their fingertips. And so if you are going into a franchise business model and they don't have a learning management system platform that is easy and quick and nimble and intuitive, you are going to be behind the 8 ball when Android and Apple and Safari and Chrome and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, there's updates happening as you sleep.
Totally.
And when you wake up, you might find a new update as a leader of a company that requires you to go, hey guys, let's all get in the studio, film 3 pieces of content, upload it to the LMS. You could do that as the CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp. We could do that here at Fit Body Bootcamp. The other guys can't, because they're still operating off an archaic system that again creates this slow molasses-like uptake, whether it's a paper 3-ring binder or an old platform that can only be updated once a quarter because they have to take the information and send it to whoever manages the platform, and then they update once a quarter because that's the service plan that you purchased as part of that franchise. Like, what a stupid way to operate.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Well, that all said, as we put a button on it, the one thing I really want to hit home, though, is while the businesses, the coaching, the fitness businesses that are going to embrace technology and leverage technology are by far going to be the winners in 2022, the big thing you cannot forget if you are in the fitness business is that you primarily, first and foremost, are in the relationship business and the people business. So you need to leverage technology, but ultimately you have to understand that you need to connect with your people, you need to connect with your team, and you need to connect with your clients, and use that technology as a tool, but don't keep your eye on the prize, and don't forget the fact that you are truly in the people business. So you don't want to overuse technology either.
Which, by the way, is the reason why we talked about these big box gyms, how they have 10,000 members, but 83% of them are not using the gym. That's because they are not in the relationship business. They do not want you to come in. They don't care about your results. They are okay with you paying whatever dollars per month to have access and to have that mental safety net of one day I'll go. But if you really want the results, you have to go work in a place that has coaching and accountability and follow-up. And so if you're thinking of starting a business, a fitness business, and you think that you're going into the fitness business and not into the relationship business, you've got another thing coming. Like, you are going into the relationship business because fitness is a very intimate thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, I read a study once that said people don't like to eat in the middle of a restaurant. Like, all those seats in the middle of the restaurant, they fill up last. People like to eat in the perimeters, in the booths, where they have some, anonymity, where no one's staring at them. You're not on stage. If you're in the middle of the restaurant, you feel like you're on stage and everyone's watching you. So those are the last seats to get filled up in a restaurant. Well, the gym is very much the same way. Now, if you're a meathead and you like to work out and you like to exercise, and Bryce, I'm sure you went to Brazil here a week and a half ago, and you probably found yourself a gym and you were working out like that, and you feel comfortable in any gym across the world, as do I, as do many people probably watching this. Please know that your clients who come into your gyms do not feel that way.
No, they do not.
There's a reason why Fit Body Boot Camps do not have mirrors in them, because we know that our avatar does not like to look at herself in the mirror. In the current state that they come in, they do not like to look at themselves in the mirror. They do not like what they're seeing. And that might sound politically incorrect. And, well, what about self-love? Hey, I get it. It's not there in the moment. But our job is to get them to fall in love with themselves, to get them to reach their fitness goals, to compliment them on when they achieve it, to celebrate those goals with them, hold them accountable once they get it, and so that they can keep those goals. And when they do, they are going to see themselves in a mirror at home, and they'll fall in love with themselves again. But because we know that our clients don't want to see themselves in a mirror, they might be intimidated by a barbell. We don't have barbells and squat racks and mirrors and all these things that might seem intimidating, which is why we have attracted a very specific avatar into the Fit Body Bootcamp model as a client that no one else would work with. Because our clientele is not the Instagram booty model who's constantly taking selfies and finding the right filters to take away the stretch marks or the cellulite off her booty. Our model is like the stay-at-home mom or the busy mom who is putting her husband and who's putting her family and kids first and always putting herself last, and just has 30 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week, and is willing to go into a Fit Body Boot Camp and turn off her thinking brain and not have to think about what kind of program she's going to do, and just follow the coaching that's there, and then know that she just burnt 300 to 600 calories and worked her total body. And then you add to that, going back to technology, the nutrition coaching that we give them, so that, because the big results come from the nutrition, which is, again, community, relationship, because the only way someone's going to feel safe in letting you take apart what they're eating and journal what they're eating and then show it to you is if you have a relationship with them, right?
Amen.
And so that relationship part of our business is so critical, so valuable, that if you don't have the relationship, they will not let you take apart their diet. They will not tell you about their greatest fears and frustrations that they have and the anxieties they have about coming into your gym, which will not give you the opportunity to serve them.
Yeah, amen. Yes, indeed. All right, shifting gears from bullet point 3 to bullet point 4 out of 5, which is nutrition coaching. And we've talked around this in terms of leveraging technology and also understanding that people join our gyms not because they want a gym membership, not because they love working out, not because they want to be tortured for a half an hour, because they're there for a desired result. Mrs. Jones, doesn't feel the same about herself anymore. She hasn't probably worked out in high school. She's gained 40, 50 pounds. Her confidence, her energy, her enthusiasm isn't there. Probably doesn't even want to work out, but she knows she needs to. And yes, while our workouts are world-class, high energy, motivation, incredible coaching, at the end of the day, what drives body composition change is nutrition. And ultimately, here at Fit Body, we have spent a lot of time over the last 12 months into creating a new nutrition program. And we're actually dialing in, about to launch a new nutrition coaching program at our World Conference this coming May. But the big call to action, and really what I'm trying to articulate here, is if you're looking at a fitness business or a franchise model that does not have a nutrition coaching element to it, you are not going to get the results that you're looking for. You're not going to get the retention and the business growth that you're looking for. And you're really not going to serve to the highest level you possibly can. Mm-hmm. So nutrition coaching is not a trend. It will continue, and it needs to be at the forefront for your business. And it certainly will be for ours, but we see big things happening in this space with a dialed-in program for this coming year.
Yeah. And to that point, as we shift gears, let's not forget about the third largest economy in the world, which is the aging adults and baby boomer market. The 55 plus market is literally the third largest economy in the world. Like, that demographic doesn't want to get old, wants to stay functional, is not interested in going into an old senior home. And so that demographic is so valuable. And they are offended, by the way, of stupid stuff like silver sneakers. You know, you go into your big box gym in your city and you see a little sign that says they are silver sneakers certified, which means they, in their little workout room, they put out chairs, and then they have these awesome human beings, one of the greatest generations of all time, the boomers, sitting in chairs and curling dumbbells. Let me tell you, I'm 47 right now. I'm one of the older people here in this building. I want to keep moving functionally. I want to be able to pick up my grandkids when my son and daughter have kids. I want to pick them up. I want to throw them up and catch them. Nothing about sitting down and shutting off my whole like proprioception system is going to help me do that. My body is not designed to sit in this weird L fashion. I'm supposed to be standing up, moving, lateral movements, picking kids up, putting them back down, groceries, hiking, biking, climbing, all these things, until one day you die. Like our friend who's got a PhD in geriatric fitness, Dan Ritchie, said it best. He said, it's not about getting old and then slowly deteriorating, finding yourself in a hospital and then in a diaper and then plugged into machines and then finally dying. It's about getting old, enjoying life, and then doing all the fun things, traveling the world, hiking, biking, ziplining, and then one day not waking up.
Stopping.
Just like that. And that is the way to go. And that demographic, the baby boomer market, wants that. They are offended by the silver sneakers and anything that allows them that makes them feel old and geriatric. And so we created the Fit Body Forever program, which is this amazing program that is literally designed to keep them young, functional, flexible, creates joint mobility, and still allows them to build muscle in a safe environment without having to create any risk of slipping from underneath a squat rack or a squat bar and hurt themselves, right? And that's really what I love about the Fit Body Forever program. And obviously that's for the 55 plus demographic. And we're currently testing with how many locations?
Well, we just signed up 24, actually.
Yeah.
And we launched at a World Conference. And we just have a lot of traction. And it's interesting, not only from a programming perspective, the type of clientele, the high retention perspective, as you hit on this, this demographic has the most amount of money. So they're, paying clients, they stay, they pay, they refer. You are the highlight of their week. So the retention is through the roof. And, let's face it, like they're aging at a very high clip and they don't want to just hit the grave and be in a nursing home and all that. They want to live life to the fullest experience. So when you combine the fact of like the biggest demographic with huge numbers from a macro level and the fact that they have money, this is a trend that will continue not only to increase but explode in 2022.
And by the way, listen, if you're in any kind of business, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that just because you're charging someone a membership fee, they might be looking to go elsewhere. Like the average client who maybe wants to lose 30 pounds, once they lose it, they might lose interest and quit their membership. If they don't like the community there, which is why we talk about relationship business, if they don't like the community at your gym, they don't feel they're plugged in, once they achieve their fitness or fat loss goals, they may leave. You've got an audience like aging adults and baby boomers who are constantly getting older. They are forever clients as long as you show up for them. They will show up for you. They have been conditioned for loyalty. That generation is loyalty conditioned. And that generation knows how to manage their money. And so you're never going to have to chase them down for collections. And so if there was ever a generation that people would need to tap into in fitness, they didn't. Well, we did. And if there was ever a trend in the fitness industry that needed to get capitalized on, and I think most people, most gym owners feel like, well, I don't want to break this person. Like they're old, they're frail, I don't want to break them. It's like, go look at some Vietnam vets. Go look at some World War II vets, like who are like, Vietnam vets who are like in their 70s and 80s, and man, they will break you. Like they are hard as stone.
Hell yeah.
Like they've seen shit in their life.
Hell yeah.
And that demographic, while they may look frail, they are absolutely savage. And we've done a damn good job with these 24 locations that are testing out Fit Body Forever. And as we roll it out in 2022, I'm happy to say that it becomes another income stream for our Fit Body Bootcamp franchise owners who are looking to scale not only in money, but also meaning. Like even serve even more people of different demographics.
Totally, and all while not having to take another lease or build out more infrastructure or hire more teammates. So huge win-win. So to recap what our predictions are, and B, certainly you can add any additional thoughts, but group training on the upswing, and it always will with the right business model. Online's continuing to thrive, but also the hybrid model. You need to leverage technology because it's only going to increase at a more exponential rate. You have to have a nutrition coaching program because nutrition coaching drives results, and that's going to be a huge trend in 2022. And then the baby boomer mature demographic of 55 and older, the numbers are staggering, and they have the financial wealth. Those are the big trends that we see in 2022 to kick off this year. So, B, from your perspective, anything else we missed?
Well, we didn't miss anything, but I'm going to give you a break, and I'm going to let the audience know that this is a great time for you to leave us a 5-star review, share this episode. Please leave a comment on iTunes, and when you do that, we're able to keep pumping out more great podcast episodes like this for you absolutely free. Thanks so much.